Hello, Kyle.
Hello.
Thanks very much for taking a bit of time. Before moving to France and joining RC Toulon, what was the thing that excited you most? And on the other end, the thing that made you the more nervous?
The thing that excited me the most was obviously to play for Toulon. Ever since I was a kid, I remember watching, Johnny, Carl Heyman, Bakis Bofa, Bastereau, the list goes on. And my first ever game for Harlequins, I was 24th man, and we played Toulon at the Maillot. So I saw the stadium and the atmosphere, and I always knew in my heart I wanted to, if I was lucky enough to play for Toulon one day. So that's what I was excited about. And then I think as any typical English person coming to a country that's new and moving abroad is obviously the language barrier. I would say that was the thing that was the most nerve-wracking for me, was just understanding, day-to-day life and being able to communicate in French.
Is there anything that you really miss from England?
The one thing I would say I miss is the sausages. But I found a company that do English sausages, so they send the sausages sometimes to me. But I would say the one thing I miss is the English sausages, so that's it.
Okay, cool. How much of a French have you become here?
I try to embrace the culture, In France, everyone's more relaxed, and it's very different for us in England, And I think that was a big thing to adjust when you first moved to France. It's like everyone's balance between work and life is very different. Whereas in England, I think that's something we could learn, is when you're off, enjoy your time with your family. Don't worry about work. Just enjoy the moment that you're in now.
French have the flair at rugby. British have the flair at business and trade.
I would say, obviously, I'm not an expertise in business, but from a rugby perspective, I would say the way the French see rugby, it's a lot on feel, and I think the way the French see sport in general, it's like art, and I think that's something as English people, I think we can learn. I think as Englishmen and people, sometimes we're very structured and very process driven, which is good. But also at times you have to feel and what's right for you, and I think getting the balance between the two is perfect. So for me, coming here, as you mentioned, with in relation to business, that I guess that relates to the structures and the processes that in England is very good. But also, if you're too structured and too process driven, sometimes that can be a detriment. So it's about finding the balance of the two, of the feel of seeing it as art, but also having your structures and protocols. So yeah.
Are you considering business for the after career? Is it already something you have on your mind, or you will think about it later?
For me, it's definitely something I'm looking into. I think the people at RCT know me well enough now. I don't think I would be very good working in an office for someone. I'd probably need to be my own boss, my own chef. So I think it's something that I'm looking into, and I think it's important to network, to speak to people in the area, and we're very lucky, here, especially at RCT, with the connections that the club has to reach out to people in the area, and obviously with my contacts back in the UK to plan for life after rugby. But yes, it's definitely something that I'm looking into, because I don't think I could work for someone after I retire.
Business is increasingly part of sport. Sport is becoming a business. Do you think rugby is any different than other sports?
I think obviously with rugby, the main difference is just from a sport itself is how physical it is, and the way I've always viewed my body is a business, like if I can't play on the weekend or I don't perform on the weekend, then like a business and its stock, it goes down. So for me, it's like, what can I do for my body, which is my business? How do I make my body 100% all the time so I can perform, so my stock keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then I can play for a long time. So I think the athletes that I have seen who see themselves as a business on the field and off the field as well, especially with social media and networking with people outside of rugby, if you see yourself as a business, and not just on the field but off the field as well, then that helps with your transition after rugby as well. And as the sport grows, it's important to keep up with the trends, you know, because as you said, rugby is now becoming a business.
Yeah, thank you. Last question, do you have any advice for our UK viewers if they are considering, you know, to settle in France, to come to France? Any advice for them?
My advice would be make sure you do your research before so you know exactly what you're getting into, and then I would say just have a real open mind when coming to France. Kind of forget everything you've learned in England and don't take it to France. Come here with a real open mind and embrace the culture. I think it's very important for a foreigner when they do come to France is to embrace the culture and try, and I think that's the biggest thing I've learned here is it doesn't matter how your French is, as long as you try and you give it a go, then everyone's accommodating. You can't just come here and say, you know, tu parles anglais. You have to try, and then if you try, then the people will help you, you know, especially I think in the south, you know, it's a very, very proud French region.
Thank you, very true. Any word in French to conclude?
Pour moi, depuis habite en France, j'adore ici. Parfois difficile, mais tout le temps, tous les jours, j'adore ici. And merci pour aujourd'hui et merci pour l'interview.
Merci beaucoup à toi.
On continue.
Merci pour ton temps. Enchanté. Merci.
Enchanté aussi. Merci.